Hello, beautiful seekers. Thank you for tuning in. This is likely an episode of a 13th Element where I give a message about something. I was sitting here just staring out my window at the sky, and I received a message. And I believe that what came through is something that is important for me to share with you. I found it to be quite beautiful. So, for any of you who ask yourself the question, and I'm sure you have, on whether your love, how you feel, what you feel towards someone, is validated, meaning is it true love, is it legitimate, is it real, is it good, and all that? Or is it psychological love? Is it something that is meant to serve as a filler to a whole? It's compensation for something. And what I have to say to that is, yes, it's both. Love is healing, and healing is love, true. The notion of true love isn't necessarily is it lasting forever type of love, but is it felt truly? And sometimes we get confused because we overthink things and very much so judge ourselves, especially in the community of spiritual people who tend to constantly be in self-examination, which on one hand is a good thing. On the other hand, it creates a lot of self-judgment. Am I good enough? Am I okay enough? Am I doing the right thing? Am I feeling the right thing? Is it legitimate? Is it proper? Yes, 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 yes. Whether it's considered legitimate and proper or not, still the answer is yes. So first and foremost, before we continue, your feelings are legitimate. They are validated. They are true. But Morgaine, this person is bad for me, or this relationship is not working, or it's not good, or it's not mutual, or it's impossible, all that's fine. And realistically, you will deal with whichever it is accordingly. But that has nothing to do with the validity of how you feel. When you have feelings for someone, it's legitimate and it's true. When you feel in love, when you're constantly thinking about them, even if it's obsessive, even if it's unhealthy, you love them. You can't explain it. You don't know how to explain it. You can't stop it even if you want to. Even if it's abusive, you know you can't be there, but you feel what you feel and you judge yourself for how you feel. Now, this is not a conversation about abusive relationship. We will get there and how to handle it if that's the case. But I don't want it to be about that in general. Generally, whatever the dynamic is between you and this person, together, not together, mutual, not mutual, possible, not possible, and so on. Healthy or not healthy, doesn't matter. Look at me. How you feel is true. How you feel is legitimate. You are not a bad person for feeling how you're feeling, even if someone tells you that you are. Now, I'm not referring to actions yet. Right? No one out there uses what I'm saying as a go to do something bad. Just with yourself, I want you to just sit with yourself and acknowledge how you feel to whatever person, whoever this is, and be okay with it, and tell yourself that you're okay, that you're not a bad person, that you're not confused, that you're not weak, that it's not wrong. We constantly talk about how we need to honor our heart, and then we criticize ourselves and judge ourselves and doubt ourselves for how we just feel. Sometimes you just feel how you feel. Now, it may very likely have a psychological reason, but here's the fun part. It's not a contradiction. It's not, if there's a psychological reason as to how you feel for someone, then it's not true and you're unaware or you're weak. Here's the thing, ready for this? As enlightened and as smart and as progressed and as aware and evolved that you may be, if you're watching me within a physical form, if you're a human being, your psychological aspects affect you. And as long as you're on the process of growth and healing and learning, which is, I believe, constant as long as we're in this form, then what you feel is also rooted in psychological reasons that are not separate than spiritual reasons, not detached, not contradictory. So let's say you are in love with someone who's very, very critical and very judgmental towards you, but you feel it. It's not like you're not feeling it and you're over it. You feel it. You just genuinely love them. But you're also feeling not validated and criticized all the time and bad about yourself, and they just make you feel like shit. Let's just face it. A, if you feel like you love them, it's true, it's validated. B, that doesn't mean you should be with them. You can love someone from afar. You can decide that they're not good for you, but still validate your feeling. I will continue repeating this and emphasizing this because it's so very important for your healing and for your spiritual growth. To first and foremost honor and accept and acknowledge how you feel. The rest will follow. We'll get to this. Okay, well, what do I do now? Okay, but I really need to strengthen this and emphasize this. Which leads me to C. Being conscientious to the psychological reason as to why you have feelings for this person allows you to know the work and the healing that you are guided to do with yourself. So maybe you yourself are very, very self-judgmental and critical, aka I don't know why I love this person, I shouldn't be loving this person, I shouldn't be doing this. That's your judgment. And the more you ask yourself how dare you love them, the more judgmental they'll be for you as well, towards you as well, because all our relationships, all of them, are a reflection of ourselves to ourselves. It's not to say that we need to be with ourselves and that's it. No. A reflection is just an aspect of connection. Okay? So on top of other aspects that connection have, mirroring is a big part of them. So maybe you're judgmental towards yourself with this example. Maybe you grew up with a very judgmental parent and you haven't healed from it and you weren't able to be upset with them or direct your anger and frustration towards them. I don't know, maybe guilt or whatever. But it's still within you, the pain, the hurt. So your heart is constantly trying to have you validate it and honor it, and it brings forth someone to show you what you do to yourself or what someone has done to you, so you could deal with it and heal it. Now, what happens when you heal, and thanks to you being in love in the first place with someone who shows you a pain that you need to acknowledge, an emotion that you need to acknowledge? And notice how it all circles back to you acknowledging how you feel, whether it's you being in love with someone or anything, really. So you're in love with someone. That leads to healing or an attempt to heal. Okay, because what can happen is that you'll break up with them because you realize that you'll consciously tell yourself that you're worth more, but then you'll find yourself in another relationship with another person who's very self-judgmental towards you, and you're like, what? I left this person to be with another person, just a different name. That is the same thing. That means that you haven't healed it yet. You haven't addressed it yet. And as for being in love with that other person that you moved on to be with, also valid love. Love came in to help you heal. So you are guided to acknowledge it to honor it, to admit it, and to feel it. Let's take a more extreme example. I will go to the good examples, by the way, that love that can work even if it's circumstantially challenging, okay? But let's take it to another example that is challenging, only really bad one, okay? Because it's important to touch, because I don't want you guys to get confused. Say you're in love with an abuser. You really love someone who's just abusive towards you. First, stop judging yourself for being in love with them. Right now, sit with yourself and say, admit these are the feelings that I have for this person. And then move on to, okay, love is healing. Why am I in love? Why is my spirit and my soul are in love with this person? What are they trying to tell me? What is my heart trying to make me aware of? And then if you've gone through abuse in childhood, or if you have extreme very little self-worth, whatever reasons, this is not a therapy session, it could be a plethora of things. Okay, I'm here to kind of open the door and for you to understand how to approach something like that. Okay, you reached a conclusion, great, now work on it. Working on it doesn't mean staying with that person. Abusive relationships, I am the first person to tell you to leave. You can tell yourself you can love them from afar, and it's okay. And by the way, the first sign to knowing that you are healed of something difficult that was mirrored towards you by a partner is when you don't love them anymore. When you just don't feel it anymore, when it's just over. When it's just over, a big likelihood is that whatever there was there, whatever reason love came between the two of you, to exist between the two of you in the first place, was addressed, acknowledged, healed. So the heart lets go. The heart truly led you to that person. Not false. Yes, also psychological. It's not a contradiction. To help you go through that and overcome. So, first thing you do and consistently do is acknowledge how you feel. Don't force yourself to not love someone, even if they're the worst, or if you are the worst to one another, or if it's completely impossible or completely bad. Okay, let's say you have strong family values, but you fell in love with someone outside of your relationship. Or you have strong family values, but you fell in love with someone who's in a relationship. Okay, no one is evil, no one is bad, but you feel super duper guilty, and it's also impossible. And so you're trying to close it and shame it and judge it and pretend like it's not there. Not only that won't help the situation, it will actually make it worse. Admit to how you feel. However you feel is good. Whether it's smart or not smart, right or wrong, possible or not possible, healthy or unhealthy, whatever. I'm going to repeat this over and over again until you get it through your thick skull. What you feel is true. Even if you're in love with someone who's not reciprocating, who doesn't feel the same. Just because you feel something towards someone, no, it doesn't automatically mean that they have feelings for you. This is about you. So whether you're together with this person or not together with this person, whether you will be together or won't be, whether it's an ex or not, whatever. Again, I'm repeating this, I know. Yes, it's valid that you feel that. Now, when it comes to actions, if someone tells you no, they're not interested, it's not mutual, then it's not mutual, they're not interested, let it go. Let it go in actions. This is where you sit with yourself and figure out the healing aspect. What is it about you that makes you fall in love with someone who doesn't feel the same? Do you not love yourself? In return, do you constantly practice love for others but never love yourself? Unconditional love includes you love. Right? See how see how, like, see the parallels. I love someone who doesn't love me. I love the world, and I don't focus on loving me as well. Okay? Focus on self-love constantly, on choosing yourself constantly, because you chose someone that doesn't choose you. Choose yourself all the time as part of your healing process. The reason why your heart, pulled you towards someone that doesn't reciprocate. And then the more you do it and the more it will actually work, you'll notice that you won't have feelings for that person anymore, because love was like, okay, I did my work here. Seeker is good. They got it. On to the next falling in love. Now, it's not to say that if it's psychological love, it means that it's either bad or impossible or not mutual or abusive. No. Love that when you fall in love with someone and they fall in love with you, it can also have psychological aspects to it. Not a contradiction. Often, you can heal together and stay together as you evolve. And then it's from the little things. You had a little bicker over here, a little argument over there, but if you still feel deeply for this person, then it's true. What happens when you're not supposed to love someone, when it's not comfortable, when it's happening in a situation that makes you feel guilty, where there's a emotional dissonance, moral dissonance? Once again, first and foremost, don't deny how you feel. If you fell in love outside of relationship or with someone in relationship, for example, how you feel is valid. You're not a bad person. If they're in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you need to try and break them up. Again, we're separating between how you feel and validating it versus your actions. Validating how you feel doesn't automatically give you a go to act upon something. Okay, this is where you got to be discerning and cognitive and aware in the world. But if it's mutual, and let's say you're in a relationship and it's the other way around. You're in a relationship and you fell in love with someone else and you no longer love your partner. Something in the relationship with your partner healed, over. You've overcome. You've learned something. You've came through the other end of something. The very reason you fell in love with them in the first place, or one of those reasons. It doesn't mean you're a bad person for falling out of love. It's extremely natural. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Financial reasons, kids, house, codependency, infinite amount of reasons why it's really, really uncomfortable to fall out of love with a spouse or with a partner. Maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's not a codependent thing. Maybe you're just best friends. Maybe you just really, really appreciate this person. Not everything has to be challenging. Maybe you fall out of love with someone who's just awesome and has always been good to you, and you're feeling maybe there's something wrong with you for not feeling it anymore, or something wrong with you for not wanting it. They're so amazing. Nothing is wrong with you. Your soul and spirit and love and heart, love, have elsewhere to be. And whether that elsewhere is infinite, being together for 70 years, dying together, all that, forever, happily ever after, or if it's a 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 1 month thing, at 15 years, I don't know, it doesn't matter. If you both feel it, if it's true and you don't feel any more for your person. I know it sounds like super obvious, especially in spiritual communities. Oh, we gotta seize the day and live our life and be free. But it's just words we say, but we don't often live by it. We often actually, most especially within spiritual people, which, by the way, it can be religious people. It could be just spiritual or not necessarily believing in a higher force, but just are very open-hearted and empathic. Their faith is just, expressed in different ways. But that doesn't mean they're not spiritual. I think a scientist that doesn't believe in God can be very spiritual. Because everything is spiritual. Because this table that I'm sitting at is spiritual. This computer is spiritual. They serve me to deliver messages for you. How is that not spiritual? How is my camera on my computer and my Wi-Fi and my laptop not spiritual? So when you serve a higher purpose, when you serve truth, when I say higher purpose, it doesn't have to be exterior to you. Just a higher purpose means following your truth, your heart, validating it, acknowledging it, and then according to reality, what to do about it. Abusive relationship, leave. Love them from afar until you heal and you don't feel it anymore. Force yourself to not connect with them. Okay? If it's just, uncomfortable relationship for whatever reason, if it's strong and it's mutual, try to figure out ways to resolve it. If circumstances don't allow for whatever reason, again, figure out if it's mutual. If it's mutual and you both love each other, I'm a romantic. I believe that love conquers all and ought to conquer all. Like nothing should hold people back from being together when they truly want to. When it's good, Don't let you genuinely love someone be a reason to be with them if they're bad to you. And don't let love also being a psychological aspect that can also manifest as exterior reality-based challenges and barriers to make you not be with that person. I hope that was clear and that I didn't over confuse you guys. Bottom line, love is healing. Healing is love. Healing includes psychological needs. You being with someone, loving someone, them loving you when you're interdependent and in need of one another. Yes, we need one another. This is not a solo experience, guys. Solo experiences are always temporary. Biologically, spiritually, we are souls that are meant and built in unity consciousness. So sometimes separation is required for the sake of unity. You need to separate from one thing to unite with another thing. Okay? You need to separate from a lot of pain and life issues and problems and financial debts and all that before you can become available to properly be with someone. Great, but still, all separation is for the sake of unity. Separation is never for the sake of separation. So we do need each other. Biologically, we need each other. Spiritually, we need each other. Passion and desire and love are meant to bring us together and bring us towards one another, and together is the thing that gets us closer to divinity, to God-is. Yin and yang transmuting into one another. Entering your reflection in the mirror, becoming one with it. If we're split souls that are looking for our soulmates, when we connect to a soulmate, to soulmates that change, some are temporary, some are timeless. With some we are a month, with some we are a lifetime. Either way, it's all valid and it's all legitimate and it's all true. And how you feel is true love, whether it's good love, bad love, or anything in the middle. Watch my other 13th element video on my 13th element playlist. Timeless Love, the T on soulmates, karmic relationships, twin flames, the difference between them. It can also shed a lot of light on the topic. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. Share the message with your communities, because I believe a lot of people are torn with that question and with self-judgment. Why am I feeling this if it's not good? Why am I feeling this? What's wrong with me? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're wonderful. If they say no, respect it. But you can still feel it. And you're still wonderful. And if you love them and they love you, what are you watching me for? Go get them. Like right now.